Good day, everyone. This is Sydney Lefofe of SL Podcast. I'm very excited again today to be sharing information with you, the information that is meant to change your life and make you better. We are on another important topic today, which I'm very excited about. We are not always at our best. We need to make peace with the truth that we are not always at our best. As much as we want to be at our best always, but we can't be at our best always. Many people, in their attempt to make success or a life of success an impossible thing to achieve, they peddle this notion that you have to be superhuman for you to achieve big things in life, or you have to be having certain kind of powers for you to achieve things that you need to achieve in life. We have to understand that it takes us to be in a certain kind of mindset for us to be able to achieve what we need to achieve. It is very important for us to understand and to have a clear view and a clear perspective on life and life issues. We always want to give ourselves reasons why we cannot get out of our cocoons, we cannot get out of our shells, we can't get out of our misfunctions and our dysfunctions. All these things, we always give ourselves reasons why we cannot get into shape and live better lives. In doing that, we deny ourselves a chance to look at life the way we are supposed to look at it. And we assume that we always have to be feeling good about everything and everything going well for us to bring changes that are necessary. And the truth of the matter is we can't always be at our best. We can't always be feeling right about everything. We need to do things anyway, despite the fact that we might not be feeling good about what we are trying to do, or at our best behavior or best everything. This is something that we need to be aware of and we need to be cognizant of, because it is very important for us to always put life into perspective. Otherwise, we are going to miss the mark and we are going to relegate other things to other people as if we can't do what we need to do. We always want to categorize people who are pushing themselves, people who are trying as much as possible to make things work, people who are grinding harder, people who are making excruciating sacrifices to get to where they want to get to. We always want to make them superhuman and as if they are possessing certain kind of superpowers. We just want to make them inhuman or superhuman, while in the actual fact, all of us are human. All of us experience all these things that can hinder us from being the best version of ourselves. We like putting everything beyond us so that we don't feel bad when we don't do what we need to do. We always want to make things look impossible. In doing that, we are just soothing ourselves. We are just making ourselves comfortable unnecessarily. So because we have to liberate ourselves to say, as much as other people are doing things and they are pushing and they are making things happen for themselves, we can put ourselves in the same spot and in the same position where we can do our best, or where we can really try to make things work or to change some things so that we can achieve what we want to achieve. We give ourselves every excuse under the sun, and funny enough, all these excuses, they look real and understandable at face value, while in the actual fact, We don't need all these things. We just need to make a decision that we can be the best version of ourselves, or we can do what we need to be doing so that our lives can change for the better. We shouldn't validate some of these things. We shouldn't make them as if they are reasons good enough to stop us, because at the end of the day, how are they going to benefit us? What are we going to benefit from all these things? It is very important for us to understand and to process these things better. We see ourselves as not good enough. And everyone, including the successful people, every now and then they feel they're not good enough. It is something that we all feel. And as much as we all feel that we are not good enough, we are insufficient in some ways, we are not worthy of some things in some ways, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to not do what we need to do because we feel that. We are talking about feelings or perceptions, which are not a true reflection of how life can pan out. We need to understand and we need to put this thing into perspective, because we have to have the right mindset for things to work and for things to change for our good. We all feel insufficient sometimes. We all feel not good enough. We all feel unworthy. This is normal. It is very normal for us to be feeling all those funny negative things. And it doesn't necessarily mean because we are feeling all those things, we have to go with them and we allow them to stop us from doing what we need to do. It is very important for us to understand that the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is not how they feel, or it's not what they feel. It is what they do despite what they feel or what they see as a threat around them. Successful people, they go beyond what they feel and they do what they need to do despite the fact that they may feel fear, they may feel threatened, they may feel danger, but at the end of the day, they come to a decision to say, I'm going to do what I need to do because it is important to do what I need to do for a change to be manifested in everything that I'm trying to do. While many people are stopped by all these funny negative feelings, successful people forge ahead. They do what they need to do, regardless of how they feel and the threat they see. It is very important for us to understand that we all feel fear, we all feel insufficient, we all feel inadequate, but there are other people who look beyond what they feel and they do what they need to do anyway. And we need to be in that category of people who are not going to be stopped by the negative funny feelings or by the things that they see as threats. It is very important for us to take ourselves from the category where many people are to a category where a few people are and where people make things happen despite what they feel and what they see. What is stopping many people to do what they need to do is motivation for successful people. Other people are motivated by fear, by anxiety, by all these threats, and they push themselves to say, I can do this, I can push myself, I can beat what is scaring me. It is very important for us to process or to have that kind of mindset where we can do all these things and we can process all these things better. It is very important for us. Successful people thrive in difficulty. They push themselves when everybody else is stopping for whatever reason. We just need one more push. We just need one more step. Despite what we feel, just one more push, one more step, and we can be successful in what we want to succeed on. It is very important for us to understand that and to have that kind of mindset to say, I'm going to do everything afraid. I'm going to do everything threatened. I'm going to do everything in difficulty, because it is very important. That is what will make a difference between unsuccessful people and successful people. You don't need to always be at your best to do what you need to do. We do what we need to do afraid. This is how we are supposed to think. We do what we need to do unsure of what we are doing, because we are not always going to be sure of everything. Because when you are adventuring new grounds, and unfortunately, you can't figure everything out. Some things you are not going to be sure of, but we still need to do what we need to do, because we can't change or we can't become better if we are not going to break new grounds. And unfortunately, new grounds means uncertainty. We don't have everything figured out. We do what we need to do with depleting strength and energy. When we are going through or we are going uphill, obviously you need more strength, you need more energy, because you are forging and pushing against the gravity or against the wind. It is very important for us to be able to do everything, even with depleting energy. We need to do what we need to do with limited resources. We can't always have everything that we need for us to forge ahead. It is impossible. We just need to be present. We just need to do and use whatever resource that we have so that we can forge ahead and we can improve in everything that we want to improve on. We do what we need to do when we are unsure of the outcome of our efforts. When we are breaking new grounds, nothing is certain. We are risking while acting on what we want to change, or while acting on what we need to do at that particular time. We can't be certain of the outcome. As long as we are forging ahead and doing what we need to do, we are putting ourselves in a better position where we can see change and we can see things improve and things moving in the direction that we wish for. We do what we need to do in the midst of self-doubt. When we are breaking new grounds, because we have not done that before, we have a little bit of doubt. In our minds, we doubt if we are going to make it or we are going to succeed in what we are trying to do. We need to come to a place where we do all these things unsure or having self-doubt or in all the negative energies that we may see ourselves in. It is very important for us to understand that we have to do what we need to do again. Feeling inadequate, feeling unworthy, with all these negative energies, we still need to do what we got to do. It is very important. One thing that we need to understand again, we don't need to feel right, or things doesn't necessarily have to be okay for us to do what we need to do. If we are going to wait for feelings to be right, if we are going to wait for the right conditions, we are going to wait for a long time. Good feelings come with a taste of success. We can't expect us to feel good while we are going up the hill. When you are going up the hill, it is painful. You're going through cruciating pain. So because you are going up the hill, you are going against the current. So you can't enjoy the ride when you are going uphill. It is a painful process. We can't feel right when we are doing that. And if we are going to wait for us to feel right about some things, we are in for a long wait. And unfortunately, failure will be imminent. We need to fully understand that there are things we can pay attention to And fear, or the feeling of fear, is not one of them. Whenever we feel fear, we shouldn't give it too much attention. A lot of people take fear and anxiety serious, while in the actual fact, we are not even supposed to be paying a lot of attention to all these negative, funny feelings. We don't make strides because we consider all these things and we want conditions to be always right. And the fact of the matter is, it is not always the case. It is on few occasions when things can be in place and everything can be in place. And in most cases, those are the occasions that only a few elite people enjoy. Most of us, we start with nothing and we start from nothing. And we don't have all those privileges. But without privileges, can't we push ourselves and do what we need to do, despite all the challenges that we are facing? We can't do what we need to do because we are uncomfortable with the changes that we will be faced with. We really need to process this thing and understand. One thing which is very critical, everyone doubt themselves every now and then. Even the successful people, they doubt themselves every now and then. When we are doing something new, when we are trying to change some things, sometimes we feel we are not good enough to be executing all those things. We feel all those negative energies every now and then. And it doesn't necessarily mean because you feel all those funny negative feelings or negative energies, it means you have to stop or not try to make things happen for yourself. Every now and then we are hit by anxiety. It's normal to be feeling anxious, to be feeling fear and all the negative, funny energies. The good thing is we don't have to allow all these negative energies to stop us from doing what we need to do. The successful people put life into perspective. This is what we need to understand. The difference between successful and unsuccessful people. Whenever they feel threatened, whenever they feel fear, whenever they feel anxious, they put life into perspective. And failure is the worst case scenario for them. They will rather go through the pain, they will rather go through doing everything afraid than come to where now they are failures in life. You will rather fight and feel all these negative energies, trying to change your life and trying to make your life better so that you cannot end up being a failure. We deny ourselves a chance to experience life in a whole new way. When we act out of fear, when we are afraid to do the necessary things that we need to do, we deny ourselves a chance to experience life in a whole new way. We deny ourselves a chance to gain access to the things that we desire, to the things that we want in life. If you are going to allow fear to cripple you and to make you not do what you need to do to see changes that are necessary in your life, you just deny yourself a chance to experience life that you can experience if you can do things anyway. It is very important for us to have that kind of mindset and to understand that we need to give ourselves a chance. We need to process everything and put life into perspective so that we won't allow ourselves or we won't stop ourselves from experiencing what we need to experience. It is very important for us again to know that trying to play safe is actually more riskier than doing things afraid or pushing or forging ahead to new grounds, afraid and threatened and anxious. Playing it safe, it is more risky because you run a risk of ending up as a failure because you wanted to play it safe. You felt fear, you felt threatened, and you stopped doing what you needed to do at that particular time because of the negative energies that you were getting from the thought and trying to act on what you needed to act on. It is very important. Fear paralyzes us even to do the simple and obvious things which are no-brainers. If we are not going to be careful, fear is going to cripple us. Fear is going to paralyze us into inactivity. Even the things that we could be doing and achieving, the things that we are able to do, things that we are empowered to do, we are not going to do them because we are afraid. Sometimes we are even afraid that other people are going to laugh at us or other people are going to make fun of us because we have tried something and failed. While in the actual fact, why should you be worried about people who are just observers and who are just fans? We need to be doing something. We need to be players in the field of life, not to be spectators, trying to call people names so that we discourage them from doing what they need to do. As long as you are a player, you stand a chance to make things happen for yourself. Life throws us under the bus because we are not fit enough to be alive. When we allow fear and all these negative energies to stop us from doing what we need to do, we'll be thrown under the bus because we'll be useless at the end of the day. And we can make ourselves useful by making ourselves available, making ourselves ready to do what we need to do, despite how we feel, despite all the threats we see, despite all the accusation, despite all the criticism. We can still do or make things happen for ourselves because we owe it to ourselves. We need to embrace life. We need to acknowledge our fears. We need to appreciate our limitations. It is very important for us to appreciate and acknowledge that I am afraid. But it doesn't necessarily mean because you are acknowledging the fact that you are afraid, you should stop doing what you need to do because you are afraid. We can forge ahead. We can do what we need to do. It is very important for us to come to that because we owe it to ourselves. We can be successful. We can succeed in what we want to succeed on because we live beyond fear. We live beyond the negative energies that we may feel. And in conclusion, we deserve better. It is very critical for us to understand that we deserve better out of life. We deserve better. We deserve better lives. And we don't need to be thrown into the utter darkness because we allowed fear or any other excuse to paralyze us into inactivity. If we don't do what we need to do, life will throw us into utter darkness because we are going to be thrown into insignificance and all these things because we don't want to show up. We don't want to be present. We don't want to do what we need to do. We don't want to do what it takes to change our lives because we are afraid that other people are going to look at us in a negative way and all that. We don't need to be caring about all those things. Why should you worry about what other people are going to say? Your life matters. Your life is on the line. You can improve your life. You can change something about you. And things can get better, or you can be better, or you can experience better life when you decide to do what you need to do. It is very important and very critical. We need to do what we got to do. It is what we are talking about today. Just do what you got to do. We push ourselves beyond limits. This is how we are supposed to be approaching life, and this should be our mindset. We need to be processing this, that we push ourselves beyond limit. We need to push ourselves beyond limit. We need to do what we got to do. We need to do what we need to do. We need to do that afraid. It's okay. We need to do that uncomfortable. We need to do that feeling insecure. It doesn't necessarily mean because you feel insecure, you need to stop doing what you need to do. You need to do what you need to do. Feeling insufficient. You need to do what you need to do. Feeling inadequate. All these negative emotions, we need to do what we need to do for us to see the changes that are necessary in our lives. We so much talk about the life of success. We all want to be successful. We all have this desire to see the changes that are necessary in our finances, in everything concerning our lives. But we need to be in a position where we can do what we need to do. We got to do what we got to do to see the changes that are necessary. It is important for us to have that kind of mindset. And we are concluding by saying, when we feel not at our best, which is what we're talking about today, we still need to do what we have to do. It doesn't necessarily mean you always have to feel at your best. The important thing is, are we prepared? Are we ready? Are we in a position to be able to do what we got to do, or be in a position where we have to do what we need to do to see the necessary changes? Whether we feel at our best or we feel not at our best, or we have fear or we are anxious, with all these things, whether we feel inadequate or insufficient, we still need to do what we need to do, because that is the only thing that can put us in a position where we can see changes that are necessary. It is very critical for us to always show up. Bleeding, we show up. Broken, we show up. Feeling inadequate, we show up. Not at our best, we show up. It is very important for us to be in that position. We just have to do what we need to do to see the success that we so much desire. Success is within our reach if we are in a position where we can do what we need to do, despite what we feel, despite the threats that we see, despite the fact that we are not at our best or we don't feel right about some things. We just have to do what we need to do. Thank you.